Monkeys unite. It's been a decade since the last installment in the Planet of the Apes franchise, but all that changes now. And who would have thought it would be James Franco who would inadvertently bring about the end of the world? Like a lot of moviegoers, I've seen the original 1968 movie and Tim Burton's rethinking of it. I've also read the book that inspired these films. I think it's that book plus the old movie that really holds the most ties to this prequel called Rise of the Planet of the Apes. If you want a bad pun, you could call this an origin of the species story. This is about how the simians will eventually become the Earth's dominant species.
We test one subject. I want to make sure it's stable.
We're talking about huge potential for millions of people.
It all starts out in the lab where Franco's scientist character uses chimps to test a drug that repairs the brain and will hopefully cure Alzheimer's. But the serums he creates have different effects for chimps and humans. That becomes a big part of both species' futures. As far as the apes are concerned, this is a good start, but will really come in handy for future generations of apes that want to build cities or learn to talk. We get a lot of footage from the apes' point of view. That part plays a lot like a prison movie. And for the first time, the apes aren't played by people in suits. They're done largely with motion capture. Andy Serkis plays the ape up front, Caesar. In fact, Serkis has become Hollywood's go-to guy for these motion capture roles, playing Gollum in Lord of the Rings and King Kong, and another animated performance later this year in Steven Spielberg's Tintin. The results of this CGI work are amazing. These creature effects are done with exquisite detail, and using motion capture really lets you get a sense of the emotions these animals feel, especially as they interact. The monkey mask, traditionally worn by actors, worked pretty good for when the apes are evolved to the point where they talk and move more human-like, but for this beginning stage, it's so much better for that the computers have perfected the animal movements while still showing their emotions. I was pleasantly surprised in that when I saw the trailer, I thought would show the apes out evolving to humans and taking place over a weekend, but it stays smart instead. It shows that this is just the beginning stage for what will take eons to get to where Charlton Heston can crash land back here. Rise of the Planet of the Apes takes both races into account and shows that humans have to get to a point eventually where they can be overthrown. But stays to where it doesn't say this happens all at once, it happens with time. I would have to say this movie is definitely more a treat for the fans of the original mythology. They're going to get miles out of calculating the significance of the events that have here and things to come. They'll also enjoy the numerous throwbacks to the original. The movie doesn't explain everything that will happen later, like how people forget to talk, but explains enough to anticipate. The interesting thing about a movie like this is that it's made purely speculatively. None of the original creators were involved, so it's done by people who have seen or read the source material and given their own interpretation to how things played out. People seeing it now may or may not agree with this vision, but it's great for them to talk about later. For this reason, plus the other great-looking sequences, giving it 3.5 stars, it's definitely one of the bright spots of the series.